Okay, I think we're live now. Okay, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship Decoded. Today I'm doing something new. I'm using, instead of Zoom, I thought this would be cooler. It's a system called StreamYard. I actually got introduced to this by Ricardo, if you guys watched this episode a couple weeks ago. But I'm excited to do this live today with my friend Danny. So I'm excited for you guys to get to know him, his story, and just everything in between. So Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. This is great. And this technology is really cool, on how we can go ahead and communicate.
Yeah, of course. I love all the stuff that I'm learning every day, even with technology and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's awesome. So let's dive right into it. I usually ask people who I interview just to tell your story, your background. What got you into entrepreneurship and doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Norwalk, California. That's in Southern California. So they're in Norwalk's pretty much Southeast LA. I always say it's right in between Dodger Stadium and Disneyland because they're two of my favorite places. So growing up there, I grew up there, graduated high school, played sports as well, and had a great time and a great childhood there. And my family's still there. Now I'm in Houston with my family. I've been out here since I got married, 2013, and we're on baby number 4. So next month we're excited for our baby girl. Yeah, and then so yeah, growing up there in Los Angeles, my dad was a cable guy. He installed cable. He climbed those poles and hooked up. That was in the change of technology, right, when it all went digital and stuff like that. But he tells the story that he was on this pole, during an earthquake, during one of the famous California earthquakes. So that's pretty cool. He's always been brave. He's an immigrant from El Salvador, and so he's one of my heroes. And so he went ahead and started a business when I was 16. And so seeing him start a business made me want to start one as well. And so he's always been an entrepreneur, but just because, so they had 6 kids, I'm the oldest of 6. And because of that, I think that they just couldn't get that, huge head start or, let alone because they got married, and my mom got married at 19. So, they were young. And I just think that they went ahead and have always resonated with that spirit and given it to us. Like my sister as well is now starting a business. And I know my brothers are into it as well. And we've been able to help out with the family business. And so, like I said, I started when I was 16. And I remember they opened up a cell phone store. They had a franchise. And it's one of those things where I didn't even know that I had a gift of sales, I guess I would say. I learned that when I was there in the store, being able to talk to strangers, being able to talk to them about that new technology at the time. I don't know if you remember the Razor phone when it came out, but that was, the cool thing. So yeah, the Razor was like this slim, thin phone. And it was like the coolest thing just because it was thin. Just because, so yeah, people can Google the Razor phone. It came out like in 2005. So because of that, I was just able to talk to people. And the thing was that got me hooked was when older people gave me their money. You know what I mean? Like getting people that were older than me to be able to pay, for this new technology. And because, back then they came out with the stat, like people carry 3 things: their wallet, their keys, and now their phone, which has even, gotten into more importance on having a phone. So that got me hooked. And just ever since then, like I started selling my friends, I started, doing things that involved sales. And to the point where I went to college and I entered the sales program. And I was able to get my first mentor there at LDS Business College in Salt Lake City. And LDS Business College is now known as Ensign College. So they're going to start the semester with a new name. But the spirit there and the like energy there and all that. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're looking for connections, go to a school that, is designed for business and things all around business, right? And you can do any stuff from business administration to accounting to sales to so many things and be able to develop all these gifts. And so that's how I went ahead and got hooked, with entrepreneurship, because I figured if I can get in sales and I can learn sales, well, I mean, that's just, your bloodline for your business, and I've been in sales my whole life. And people always are amazed with us because, like, when they talk to my wife and I, we've lived off of commission our whole married life. So that's something that people can't say. It's something that I'm proud of. and being able to support a family on that, on my, I guess I don't want to say my personal wealth, but yeah, pretty much what I can bring to the table, bring home the bacon per se. It's a really neat thing to be able to do and to be able to talk about.
That's so awesome. I love that whole story. Just how you basically grew up with it. And, you had, when you turned 16 and you learned your skill, you learned your strengths, and then you just use that to run with it and go to college and then just learn in the process. So that's really awesome. And having my mom did sales and I've done a little bit of sales, but like living on commissions, that is something to be really proud of. So that's really awesome. You were able to do that.
It's one of those things where I've learned to believe in myself. Just like many, I'm self-conscious. I don't consider myself Brad Pitt. I have to wear glasses, and but for sure, smiling and laughing and having that energy with people, being able to talk to people, is something that I've been able to develop in sales. To the point where, like, my wife bought me this book, and it's called The Power of Charm, and it's just really cool. Like, number one, I took it as a compliment because she's called me charming once or twice, and I love her to death. But it's one of those things where books or self education, as well as with trial and error, will definitely be able to help you reach your goals and be able to help you develop those talents and strengths. And it's really important because all of us need to know what our talents and strengths are. And that's going to help us become better entrepreneurs, so we can go ahead and talk to people and find our target markets and be able to build those successful businesses and reach those awesome goals.
Yeah, of course. You have it right, pinned right there. I bet that book's pretty awesome, though, just to have that charm a little bit. But that's definitely what you have to have as a salesperson, just that uniqueness about you. So that's awesome that you were able to do that. I'd love to dive deeper into kind of that subject of your strengths and how you figured out how you were great at doing sales. So I'm wondering if you had like a specific experience, or was it just over time that you learned that you were great at sales and then you were able to use that moving forward?
So I always love hearing and reading about other people's stories. And the most common thing about people's stories, which is also falls into my story, is that I didn't succeed day one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say that I was a horrible salesman my first summer of selling. We're to the point where, like, we're recently married, my wife and I, and she made more money than I did. She held the fort down, and the thing is that I had to go ahead and develop and seek mentors, and I had to go ahead and find the things that were working for me. I knew that I loved it. I knew that I liked talking to people. I knew that I could do it. But then it came to the point was, how am I going to do it? And what can I go ahead and learn? What new traits or what things can go ahead and help me? And one of my first bosses went ahead and helped me. And he's still my mentor. I still keep in touch with him today. I can text him anytime. It's really cool. It's a great relationship. And so because of him and that relationship, he went ahead and was able to boost my confidence. He was able to help me and tell me, mentoring and training at any time. So we always have to be willing to be trained. So I would go ahead and say, yeah, my first year of marriage, where I went ahead and failed because, I'm in high school, I'm at my parents' house, or, I'm hanging out with family, and those things give you comfort, right? I couldn't really test and see my growth and measures. But, when I got married, that's kind of when I became, adulting, right? We started living the adult life. And when I failed, I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Am I even going to be able to do this? Am I even going to be able to start a business? Because that's been my goal and my dream. And so that pretty much so the year of 2013, when, I had to go ahead and seek more education, I had to go ahead and find a mentor, and I had to be able to, gain more knowledge to be able to know how to be able to sell. And it really helped out, gaining a mentor really helped me out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that whole story. Everyone sucks at everything when they start. I mean, even if you learn that you're great at it, you have to suck at it for just like a little bit. So the fact that you kind of went, like you said, that summer just trying to figure it out, and it was a rough time, but I would just explain that. So how how were you able to keep going through that? Because I know a lot of people, they do struggle with failure. They do struggle with that reality of it. So how were you able to keep going and just say, okay, I'm going to get better at this eventually, and just have that motivation?
Well, and motivation is key, just like how you said that, because I've seen so many people go through the, let's just say, sales industry, and then this is many different things to sell, right? Number one, I always say I have to love the product that I sell. And so I had a great time my first job out of college. It was a really fun time. The team was great. I had my mentor. And then I transitioned into an even more fun industry, which was selling cruises. So you have to love what you're doing. You have to, because then it just becomes a drain. It becomes a drag. And so I went from, selling, the first industry was pest control. Second industry is cruises. I mean, talking about different parts of the world and seeing many different parts of the world and traveling, and the cruise lines, when, the industry didn't go down before COVID, obviously, they wanted us to know the product we were selling. So it was really fun, checking that out, boarding the ships and all that stuff. So if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And then with that, because people aren't having fun, they go ahead and say sales is horrible. It's the worst to sell. Then there's a bad stigma. There's stereotypes. But if you yourself believe in yourself and you have that motivation, which is what I had when I was 16, I knew I loved it. I knew I loved talking to people. So that was there. And then the encouragement from my inner circle. My wife was super encouraging. Even though she was nervous that we might have not made any money, she was completely encouraging. So she believed in me, as well as in my mentor, as well as my family. And then, with our process now, my kids believe in me. So it's like, it's one of those things where you have to have an inner circle that motivates you, that believe in you, and it makes you want to be better. And that way you just only love more what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. I think you explained that perfectly. Having those people just help you through the crap, the horrible stuff that you have to go through. So you think that was the main thing that helped you continue on? And would you say that's basically just the one thing, or I guess to reword it, what would be your main, I guess, ideas or main thing that you think other people should do, invest in, whether that is an inner circle or other things to help them grow, to help them get through those hard times?
Most definitely. And I just had a one-on-one earlier today on someone talking about investing in yourself. And that was something that my mentor taught me as well. So yeah, just what we just talked about is fantastic. And then, so your first step would be to love what you're selling, to love what you're doing, right? And we're talking to entrepreneurs. So you already love and believe in your product or believe in your business. And then you already have the support system. You have a spouse or you have friends and family. But in between that, you have to love yourself and you have to invest in yourself. Being an entrepreneur is a huge investment in oneself. And if you don't, like I said, I was self-conscious and I, went ahead and was nervous. But if you don't have that belief in yourself, you're not going anywhere. It's as cheesy as possible, but it's the real truth. All the people around you can have all the belief in you, but if you don't have that belief, you're not going to be able to do squat. You're not going to be able to accomplish it. And so my mentor went ahead and made me realize, number one, what he invested in me. So that became about, like, with me believing in myself. It's like, well, if they believe in me, I got to believe in me. And then number two is, my wife was around me. And it's funny because when my wife sees this, she's gonna be like, why are you mentioning him first? She should be first. But she knows what I mean. Um, so so with that, you have to believe in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You invest in yourself with your time, which time is the most valuable thing. It's the most valuable thing, I think. You invest yourself, obviously, financially, whether you're not paying yourself or whether it is that you already invested those funds into that. So, and then you also invest in yourself in your education. And then you have to, and people have been talking about, hashtag balance life. When you're investing in yourself, you have to balance your life. I've learned to be able to balance my life with my kids, my family, with my friends. I also enjoy sports. So watching, sports during this time is weird, but I'm excited they're back. I also volunteer in the community with church. And obviously I have my job and I have my responsibilities. So with that, because I'm able to balance these things, because I'm able to, let's just say, make everyone happy, right? My team at work, my team here at home, my friends, and all that, we're able to have a good time, safe, obviously, during these days. That's why I feel that, things can be successful and it can go well. Review Matters has just launched 2 months ago. And so it's because of the cruising industry, like I mentioned, it went down. So I didn't have a job for 3 months. It was weird because I used to leave the house super early. I would leave the house at 6 a.m. to get through traffic and do all this stuff. Then after work was baseball practice. I was baseball coach. I'm part of the Little League board, as well as, either helping out with someone else's stuff or the community, or there's a church thing, or, things happen during the week, right? And we're so busy. Whereas right now, things have relaxed, things have calmed down. I've been able to be home at more, right? We're able to take advantage. I saw the college baseball coach of Vanderbilt talk about we should take advantage of this time that we have at home, because we've never been at home this much in our lives. And I'm sure he was talking about himself, but I can attest to that as well, because I would get home super late. And right now, I'm able to be around my kids. I'm able to see them at all times. I'm able to, lunch is just right here down the hall, in our kitchen. So we're able to do these things. And to go back to when I was talking about investing in ourselves, all these things have to do with that, because it creates that energy. It creates that confidence. It creates that comfort level, comfort where we're not slacking off, but comfort where we feel happy to do what we're doing. And that is huge for an entrepreneur, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you start, people can smell fear. It's really funny. People can see when you're nervous. People can smell fear. I'm sure my wife will notice my little ticks here on this podcast, because she knows me so well. But review, like I mentioned, Review Matters only has 2 months. 2 months. My friends have been in development. They've put so much work into it. They're funny because they don't like, being in front of people, right? They prefer to be on a computer. They're awesome developers. They have an awesome idea, an awesome product. And Review Matters, I believe in it. I love the mission that we've established, the mission statement, and our goals. And we want to be able to help businesses gain reviews. We want to be able to help businesses market themselves and have that efficient communication, so businesses can go ahead and be in touch with their consumers and their markets. And I believe in myself, and I believe in my friends, and being able to do this. And this is going to be a fun ride. This is awesome.
That's so awesome. There's so many awesome nuggets in there, and just thinking about all that stuff, and like passion, being able to, take this time now to, figure out what you actually want. Because I think right now, I was talking to, I also have mentors, and they're afraid that people will go back to work and go back to their life and not remember this time that they spent at home. And I think this could be a really big shift in just our society, where we would want to spend more time with our family. We want to just be at home to figure out what the most important things in our life. And a lot of times it's not our job. But I mean, like you said, passion and having that love for what you're doing, that, especially with an entrepreneur, I think that's so key. It's something that just keeps you going and allows you to work those longer hours if you need to, or, figure out what hours you want to work with what we're doing now. But yeah, I think all that you said was really awesome. And the fact that I've only been in business for 2 months, it's really awesome. And so for the people who are entrepreneurs or people who are new at all of this, what have you learned for the past 2 months that's kind of been either the biggest learning curve, or just been a big lesson that you learned in the process?
Yeah, so with Review Matters, I've been on the team since June. But I've also been an entrepreneur with other businesses. You have those side hustles, right? So with the side hustles, and what I've been able to learn is, more importantly, within your business, I guess I'm not going to talk about, I guess the logistics and what we all know about entrepreneurship. Manage your money, don't invest anything you don't plan on losing, all these things I feel like we know, because there's so many books and there's so many people who talk about it. Mm-hmm. And if you, as an entrepreneur, if you don't know about these things, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Like, we can always talk about it. But what I do feel, because there's that we already know, the things that we don't know, I feel that, that it is that passion. if you don't have that passion for your product or your service, maybe there's something you can change. Maybe there's something that you haven't found yet, and keep looking for it and keep striving for it. Because as an entrepreneur, you can't give up, not at all. You can't go ahead and let yourself be beaten. Even if the competition, you feel they have such a huge marketing budget over there, or they have the top clients, the top accounts that are these big whales and stuff like that. There's the beauty about this country, and this comes from my past with my parents being immigrants, is that there is opportunity here. We just need to find it. With that opportunity, we're able to search and we're able to find. And with that, I feel that, like I mentioned before, if there's something that's not working, we got to make adjustments. We got to be flexible. I went from the travel industry. The travel industry per se hasn't been the most flexible when it comes to refunds and things. It's the worst, when you got to be flexible in the travel industry, because the plane was changed and things like that. And now I've gone to technology. And so with technology, you got to be always in the adjustment mode, because something can change. You know what I mean? Something can go to where you have to progress. You have to have your eyes open. You have to see what the people need, what the people want. So it's really great experience with Review Matters and being in the technology industry. And with COVID, there's now a new way to do business. With COVID, people, you have things like things that Review Matters offers, like contactless payment. People are texting now. So like, for example, if you're looking for a texting campaign, we can go ahead and help you with that. Because emailing now, emails get buried. There's spam, there's filters. Texting, like I mentioned, Review Matters has made that shift to go from email to texting. And not only that, but there's social media. Social media, I don't see it going anywhere, especially because, like, for example, the Beatles haven't gone anywhere. And that's because my opinion is that teenagers loved them at that time, and teenagers still love them. And it's really interesting when a teenager loves your service or industry, it stays. Like, you know what I mean? So like phones and technology and all that stuff and texting, I don't see it as going away. Maybe there'll be something new, with direct messaging, because it's all over social media. Like Facebook had direct messaging. Obviously, Instagram has to have it. LinkedIn has it. All these platforms have it. So direct messaging is here to stay, because we all want to be connected. We all want to communicate. So yeah, these are the things that I've learned as an entrepreneur. And so like, as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to be adjustable. And that's something I learned in sales as well, because you can't have the same pitch. You can't have the same sale, to two different people. So like, yeah, most definitely you have to be able to be progress in that aspect. And it's going to help out. It helps out entrepreneurs when you're adjustable and flexible, I'll say.
Yeah, that's so right. And it's funny. I've done sales for a few years, and it's like, it would be so easy to have the same pitch each time, but that's not how the conversation goes, because it's a conversation with different people each time, and they have a different reaction to it. So you always have to be adjustable. You always have to, especially today. It's like literally every single day something changes, whether that's in the social media world, the tech industries, whatever. But you just have to be on the ball all the time, and it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, you're definitely on the point with all that. So just, I guess, to wrap it up a little bit, I would love to hear your advice for these entrepreneurs, whether they're new, whether they're like stuck in their way, or they feel like they just need that. I mean, like a piece of advice. Maybe they hear it all the time, but they need someone else, a new perspective to hear from it. What would your advice be for those types of entrepreneurs?
So speaking from my failures, I would go ahead and say that when I was younger and doing little businesses, they failed when I got big-headed. And I'm going to use my wife's words, big-headed. Ego and not willing and stubbornness are not going to help in business at all. They're not. I was sometimes where I'm like, this is what we have. This is the price. This is where we're at. Like, this is what we want to do. And it's going to get done this way. And it's not going to be, and that's not the way it works. As an entrepreneur, we have to stick strong. We have to stick together. And we do that by being able to adjust to the market and adjust to our consumers, which is another way of being able to say that the customer is always right. Let's just go ahead and go there, because if you don't go ahead and adapt to your market, if you don't go ahead and adapt, like companies like Apple, they sell the same product that others do. They have, and some people would even say it's the same or a worse product. I won't go here nor there. But what we do know is that they've adjusted to their target market. They've adjusted, and to be able to sell it to those people that that will go ahead, and because they're flexible, they're not saying this is what we're going to give you, this is the price, and it's over. No, they are giving you different opportunities, different ways to use their products, different products as well as there's attachments. And so we have to be flexible as entrepreneurs. We have to be willing to be able to listen, because if you just have a marketing strategy and that's it, and that's the message you want to broadcast, that's great. But what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if it doesn't resonate? What happens if they didn't hear it right? So there's those things as well. So to an entrepreneur, I definitely wish that you stay flexible, that you listen to your audience, and that you're able to do what it is that they ask. Because who cares about the extras, or who cares about the other stuff? But because sometimes they're just telling you one thing and it's just right in front of you and it's so easy. And maybe they'll pay more for that one thing than those extras that you offer. So there's so many things there. So yeah, don't learn from my mistakes, because I've been stubborn in the past. Right now, I've been flexible. Not only with that, but to our entrepreneurs, I would say put some pressure on yourself. It's good to be able to test yourself, because I've been in pressure situations in sports ever since I was a little kid. Like there in LA, I went ahead and played, in district games and regional games, and I mean my name was in the newspaper for a loss. You know what I mean? Because I lost the game, and those experiences need to benefit us. We can't be down on ourselves. Like if people have seen the movie Holes, I just recently saw it with my kids. I think of bad luck. There's no such thing as bad luck, in the sense of where you can change it. That's the beauty about this life. You can create your destiny. You can create your opportunities. And that's what I was talking about, where here in this country, we have these opportunities to search and find. So we just have to be flexible. We have to find and look for those things. And let's not be stubborn. Let's not stick to our ways, because the businesses that have stuck to their ways, I'm going to go on a limb and say Blockbuster, because I read an article about them. I think they put out their first tweet in like 6 years. I read that. And they had an opportunity to buy Netflix. It was, so that history, let's learn from history. Let's learn from people's mistakes. I'm willing to go ahead and claim mine. And that way people can learn from them as well. So we can be better entrepreneurs and be more successful, because we need each other in the economy, especially right now with COVID and changing business. We definitely need each other.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Love that, actually. And the fact that you brought in like Blockbuster, I had no idea that they had the chance to buy Netflix. I bet that was like, they're just like, okay, crap. Well, we screwed up. But that's
I always put myself in people's positions. Like, it's really easy to just say, oh, they screwed up, So I put myself and I go, what would I be thinking if I was, the president and CEO, whoever was in charge of that decision? And it's from what I read in the story. Obviously, I'm going to just talk quick about it so I don't say anything wrong. But what I do know that was published was that in the year 2000, they had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million. So I think about the year 2000, like, the tech boom, right? We're right out of that .com age. And 50 million still sounds like a lot, 20 years ago. So I think it's always a risk. I mean, 50 million is 50 million. But so it's super easy to say, oh, they blew it. And now Netflix, the last raising with Netflix was like 209 billion. But yeah, it's crazy. But with that, it's just, are we willing to take those risks? Are we willing to bet on ourselves? Are we willing to put everything we got? Because, like I told my two buddies who signed me on board with Review Matters, I become obsessive. And sometimes it's a bad thing. So my wife brings me back. But when I get to that point, that's how we should be. We should go ahead and be so passionate where we become obsessive and we live it and we enjoy our mission statement and our code of conducts and our morals and our values. And that helps us. And when it helps us individually, like I mentioned, we need to invest in ourselves and do everything ourselves. Then everyone around us enjoys that energy and we become a joy to be around. And I've learned that in personal development, and I've learned that by seeing those around me as well, examples that are older than me. It's been really great.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Like you said, perspective. It really takes. I heard a quote the other day, and it's funny because my generation, I'm 18, so I'm a Generation Z, and we say all the time, the struggle is real. But when you think about it, it really isn't, because you can like refer that. It's like the struggle isn't real. If you have that mindset in your perspective, or in your positive in your perspective, and you made that decision, the world is your oyster. You have the opportunities. You just have to have that mindset. So I think, like what you said, if you just have that design, that mindset of just, you have the opportunities, then you will. So I think you have that right on point. And then the self-development thing, definitely something you should, even if you like are out of high school, out of college, you should keep learning, just because it might get, it's boring sometimes and you might get behind or anything like that. But definitely self-development is so important. And I love how you talked about that today too.
Yeah, the struggle is real. You said that, and I do believe that. But what I would say is, are we gonna let the struggle take us over? Are we gonna let the struggle be the it? Are we gonna only focus on that? If we focus on the solution instead of the problem, then the struggle was there, but it's not real no more. And so yeah, and that's been, with us, like my wife and I love telling the story. Well, we got married with 30 something dollars in our bank account, right? Because the license was expensive. I always hate the license price and I always bring it up and she's like, get over it. So that's a lot to get married. But we know the struggle. Everyone knows the struggle because the struggle is real. That's a true statement. But don't let it take over. Don't let it be, don't let it be. Choose a code of conduct and choose morals and values that will go ahead and beat the struggle. So yeah, we should definitely beat the struggle.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great quote right there. Someone should write that down. But that was awesome. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, or if anyone wants to know exactly what you do, so what is it that you do, and then how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we're Review Matters. And so we know that reviews matter for businesses. So we help businesses obtain reviews on Google and Facebook. And we do that by one click. So like I mentioned, texting. So businesses can go ahead and text their consumers and say, thank you for being a loyal customer. And the consumer, with one click of the link, it goes straight to the Google My Business page. So it's the more efficient way to leave a review. So if any business owners are interested in getting more reviews and being able to talk to their customers by text, we've integrated Facebook, their web chat, as well as text message, and there's still emails because people email. We've integrated all that on a platform, and so people can communicate on their computer or on our app. And then with that, they can go ahead and leave reviews. So people can text me at 832-293-4755. As well as my email is danny@reviewmatters.com. I'd love to be able to talk to business owners about being able to help them and grow their business. There's so many stats on how this can grow a business based on ratings or based on how many reviews they have, with the algorithm on the Google listing being able to appear. And if they don't know what a Google My Business page is, just stop this and text me now. Because we definitely want to help them to be searchable and be found on Google. So they need to establish a Google My Business page. And we also have a text to pay feature. The text to pay feature helps out. If you're getting paid by PayPal or Square, the leg up with us would be you can text that link and get paid instantly. And our software recognizes people's phones, so they can get paid by Apple Pay or Google Pay, as well as it recognizes their phones on what they're logged into, which is why they can leave a review so fast. So yeah, Review Matters. We're here to help businesses. Our mission is to help businesses grow during COVID. We can go ahead and help restaurants establish their outdoor service with text messaging, text to pay, getting reviews. We can help many different industries, especially those that have brick and mortars. And, because of COVID, you can't have people, so many in the lobby. You have to social distance. People have to wait in cars, stuff like that. So texting and that communication, we are able to do that for them. So yeah, reviewmatters.com as well. And I'm Danny, and I'm able to help here, and we're excited to be part of the economy. We're excited to launch during COVID. We're born during COVID, so we're saying that we can help your business be open during COVID because we know what it's like.
That's awesome. Yeah, I put Danny's email down below if you guys want to see that. And then this will also be uploaded to my YouTube and podcast channel. So all of that will be in the description as well. So Danny, thank you for coming with me today. I loved hearing your story and hearing what you do to provide value for people. So thank you.
Awesome. And I do see that, yeah, it's Danny at Review Matters. So there's plural. Like I don't know if you're able to see it, but yeah, so pretty much
Our reviews matter.
Yeah, so Review Matters. So the second word is plural.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was trying to listen and type at the same time. So
no worries. I definitely know what that's like. It gets crazy, especially, you know, when you're on so many calls. Yeah. So matters is the plural word. And then, so yeah. And we're just excited to be able to help out, like I mentioned again. And if anyone wants to reach out, let alone to, you know, have support or to ask any questions, I'm always here to help. And then, so Rios-Lazo is not a common name, so you can look me up at Danny Rios-Lazo on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and I'm glad to help. And I'm glad to participate. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. So anyone with listening or watching, hope you guys got some value from that, and I hope you guys have a great day.
You too. Take care.